Welcome to my creative critical reflection for my media studies project. I will be reflecting on all products that I created, which includes my postcard, my short film, and the website I created. Alright, let's go. Now, just a little bit about my film.
News follows Grayson within a future America, one in which citizens have implants placed within their heads to control their emotions to a reasonable level. At his friend's hand, he tries an experimental drug called Noose, which is supposed to temporarily deactivate the implant and reactivate the emotions. Noose is a cross between science fiction, specifically social science fiction, and a psychological thriller.
I chose to embrace conventions of these genres rather than challenge them.
I chose to embrace all conventions of these genres rather than challenge them, as well as the conventions of a short film. That goes with the rest of my products, the website and postcard. They were based off contemporary examples I found when researching conventions. Both the postcard and website don't follow any specific conventions
Really
for either genre.
To stick with genre conventions, mainly through the plot and how I filmed everything and how I edited everything. So with sci-fi, I really tried to have the plot surround not like a superhero, but a guy who has superpowers in a sense, that like a mind-enhancing drug, and the fact that it gives you some type of abnormal, inhuman ability. Is definitely a science fiction aspect, and then along with the soft social science fiction aspect of the social commentary. And as for the psychological thriller, I kind of did that with the extreme close-ups and just kind of the way I framed stuff and how close stuff was, and kind of the quick edits and everything. Researching film websites and postcards, I didn't really know what to research, and I ended up looking at previous projects for the postcards, because what I looked up, all that came up was actual postcards with old movie posters on them. What? And then so I just looked at everyone else's from the end, and there wasn't a lot that I felt like I could relate to with my project until I found that one, or this one. And I really knew what I wanted to go for, was that minimalistic feel, and that's what I continued on through my entire campaign. It's the only thing that kind of carried out over into my website, was that minimalistic feel, because there wasn't a lot to my film. When looking at other short film websites, they're very prestige, and they're actually short films that appeared in Sundance or something, and they have professional photos and professional reviews, and I felt like I could have added that to my website and made fake awards and fake reviews, but I kind of wanted to be my film to have this new essence that is actually coming out, and it hasn't been out for a while, and that's why I organized some of my campaign aspects, oh, it's coming out here, make sure you come and see us, make sure you come and talk to us, and that's really what I wanted to go for. The main motifs throughout my entire film was that white gradient, or even just the white background, or just the minimalist feel I'm trying to go for. It wasn't exactly achieved to how I wanted it, especially since there was a lot of problems with editing and filming, but there was that original concept that I really wanted to get across. Social commentaries through the representation of social groups and social issues. Mainly what's going on today. I mean, wake up, America. I wanted to mimic how living generations today are obsessed with the newest technology, or how we're perceived through social media, or even just by society, and then bam, out came the implant, which controlled everything, and I feel like that could possibly be in the near future, which is kind of scary, but that's what this film is all about. It's supposed to be social commentary from a science fiction point of view, and then, of course, to go along with the motif, which is also another convention, is that futuristic, white, modern, contemporary, feel you get, and that's what I was kind of going for within like the title, to like evoke that like modernish kind of like obviously futuristic vibe coming from the white like motif in the background and stuff, because like the idea that like when Grayson is like thinking in his head, that's what he sees, and that's like representative of the future. To be honest, branding wasn't my first concern within this project. I feel myself like low-key thinking about how to brand this project, because I thought about it in a campaign sort of wise, and how things matched up with each other and how I could portray them together. Like, where would I put the logo, or like the website on the postcard? Where would I put the website on the film? Where would I put the film on the website? Where would I put the film on the film? Like, where would I put these things? Like, how would I connect them? How would I create an overarching brand to be presented through all of these products? And I think I really did that. Again, I know I keep saying it, but like through the white motif, but like just like subtle things, like the same font throughout everything, and then constant pictures of reinforcement of the main character, Grayson, who is also my brother. The constant reinforcement of his picture, not the secondary characters. I really wanted to create this really nice cohesiveness throughout all my projects, just so like they would seamlessly fit together. Like, the palette that I kept throughout, like the white, the gray, the black, the blue, just very muted, like almost monochromatic, kind of helped keep that branding throughout, and that keep that everything cohesive. And look, as I view the products I've produced relate with audiences as a way of engagement. Like, relate. They could possibly relate to, you know, like wanting to control their emotions at the like a switch of a button, or like have their own implant, or even just like get rid of their emotions altogether. That's what I feel my target audience would relate to the most. Even those who've been pressured to take drugs in a social setting and have become social drug users. For example, social smokers. The ability to like go on our website, or the film's website, and just kind of like learn about the people who created it, and like learn about the process, especially with the link to my personal blog, the blog I used to tell you how I facilitated the making of my film. And I think the idea that it's linked to the website, and the fact that there's some behind the scenes pictures, and just like the idea that you can come talk to us at film festivals, or even just online instantly, is just like a great way to communicate, and it really helps audiences engage along. But like this idea of giving instant feedback, whether it be online through social media, or especially through like YouTube comments, or like in person at like film festivals, is like a great way of engagement. To film most of my projects, I use a Canon PowerShot SX530, but other than a few shots, the other shots that I shot, I used my phone, which is what I'm using right now. It's a Samsung Galaxy S6. I used Filmora, which is not a free editing system, but I bought it this year just to use for this class and the purpose of making a whole bunch of projects throughout the year. I decided to use the camera instead of my actual phone to film like I did last time. It was mainly because of how hard it was to transfer files from my phone to my laptop, and that's mainly because the way I did it was I used Google Photos. Since I have an Android, it automatically uploads to Google Photos. I would just download it from my laptop, but sometimes the clips would be so long that they would take too long to download, and they were too large to email, so I couldn't. It was like a whole thing. So I just decided to use a camera. It'd be easier because I can just use an SD card, put it in. My laptop actually doesn't have an SD card reader, so that's why I have this, which is an SD card like USB reader. So I just put it in. If I could put it in. Oh god, of course this would happen to me, right? Just put it in, and then I just put it right in my laptop, and it works just as if it was like a USB. I also use my phone to record the audio using the voice recorder app on here, which I've actually used for some of the voiceovers during this, and then the voiceover during my film. I mean, obviously I use the internet to facilitate my research, but I also used it to just find a lot of copyright-free music and just like a free online editor because I had no space to download the other editor I typically use for projects, and I had just had to work with what I had, which wasn't a lot. Thank you, computer. Oh my, I can't believe I almost forgot to talk about the FX, the glitches that Grayson sees with his mind, the texts. Yeah, that took a lot. So what I did for that is I really just took a whole bunch of separate, like, texts, text pieces, and just kind of layered them one up on top of another. On my blog, how I really wanted to challenge myself in terms of filmmaking, in terms of, like, special effects. And let's just say they don't look as good as I wish they did. Part of that has to do with me accidentally deleting a lot of footage by accident when I had to make room on my laptop. So that's why it doesn't look as good as I originally wanted it to. But I still think it looks pretty good. And to create these FX, I really just used what was like preloaded into Filmora. And like, I didn't really have to do a lot. Like, when I use PNP, picture-in-picture, photo-in-photo, there's an option for green screen, and that's really easy. You just click on the color, and it erases it, and you can choose like the opacity that you wanted. But there's another little thing I use called masking, which is what I used in the shot when it's the bathroom, and it's Grayson standing in front of Grayson at the mirror, but it's not mirrored. Like, what I did was I masked half of the shot, and I put another video on top so that they're layered on top of each other, but they're different parts of the video, and so that way they kind of match up. So it was just like, you put one, you put another one, you put another one, but there was always gaps, so it wasn't just like a long piece of text. Thanks for tuning in to my CCR, and I hope you enjoyed it, and my film as well. Thanks!